Hi guys, welcome to Relatable Creatables. I'm Melissa, and this week I'm making some more fall decor to set around my house. This first project, I used some old blocks of wood. Actually, I have two projects with these old blocks of wood. I painted them with black acrylic paint on the bottom, let them dry, and then I went over it with some Waverly chalk paint. And I didn't even care if there was full coverage. I wanted that black to show through, and then I also sanded it after it dried. I used Canva to create this image. It says hay rides every Friday in October, and I'm just using reverse Mod Podge and placing it down on there and making sure it's down in all the corners. And I'm going to press down with my one of my Cricut tools. And then I'm going to let it dry overnight. And then we're going to come back with some water and rub off all that paper. So here I am. And this is the first time I've done reverse Mod Podge, so I was just trying it out and I really like it. So I just painted some water on. Next time I'll just kind of slap it on with a sponge or something. And just rubbing off all of the paper. And it did rub off a little bit more than I wanted on one of the letters, but I just went back and kind of filled it in. So it looked fine when it was finished. And then my second project, I'm also going to use a block of wood. I got these stamps at a thrift store for $1, and I really they look like fall. And then I'm also going to use um, my letters that I got at the Dollar Tree. And then I did the painting the same way as the first one, and then I just stamped this on the block. Project 3 is another scrap wood piece. I actually painted this one orange with some Waverly chalk paint, and then I went over it with the white Waverly chalk paint, and I sanded it back. I wanted some of that orange showing through. And like I said, this is just another piece to set around my house for Halloween fall decor. And then I also used Canva again to print off a farm fresh pumpkins sign with some little pumpkins on there. And I'm just going to do the reverse Mod Podge again. So I'm just using my brush to put the Mod Podge all over my image, and then I'm going to place it down on my scrap piece of wood. And again, we're going to let it set completely overnight and let it dry. This image I did print off with my inkjet printer, so I wasn't so sure how this was going to turn out. And when I went with the water, the first part of the letters kind of rubbed off. I just went back with a Crayola colored pencil in black and just kind of filled in the F and a little bit of part of the A. I wanted to look old anyway, but I thought the F was missing a little too much at the beginning there. number 4. I think this was my favorite. I took an old badminton racket that I found at the thrift store, and I had my son actually use his saw, chop it off here real fast because he was out there working anyway. So we're going to cut off the handle and turn it into a pumpkin. So when we finished that, I took it outside and started spraying it with some Rust-Oleum. The only thing I could find was gloss paint, and I wasn't real crazy about that. It's real orange gloss. But after I spray painted it, I decided to bring it in and kind of make it take away some of that brightness with some antiquing wax. And I am a horrible spray painter. My husband paints cars for a living, and he is a perfectionist. I am not. So here I am with the Waverly Antiquing Wax, and I put quite a bit on it. I went over it a few times just to try to get it dark as I wanted. I also put some over the strings as well to darken them up. And then here in a minute, I am going to also put some antiquing wax on some little mini clothespins that I bought at the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to hang some leaves that I got picked out of my yard. And then also I printed some graphics from the Graphics Fairy to add to my pumpkin. So as you watch me do this, I'm also going to tell you about another sign that I have, and I will show it at the end. I didn't get it recorded because I've had it done for quite a while, but I took a pumpkin cutout, wooden cutout, that I used my jigsaw on, and I painted it black to begin with, and then I used some glue to give it the crackle effect and painted over that with some orange Waverly chalk paint. And then after I finished that, I used my Cricut to cut out a Bible verse, and I saw a similar pumpkin, not similar pumpkin, but a pumpkin with a verse like this on Etsy. And so I made the Bible verse and printed it out and put it on the pumpkin. And I didn't put the vinyl on the pumpkin. I actually made a stencil with the vinyl and then went over it with some black paint to create the Bible verse. And here are my final projects. There's my wooden pumpkin that I made with my Cricut and also the crackle effect with the glue. And then my badminton pumpkin that I added the leaves. I also added some to the top. So here, these are part of my signs that I did this week. And then coming up are my other 3 signs. Like I said, I'm just going to set these around my house. So they're not perfect, but I like them. And I like to do different things. I'm not a matchy-matchy person at all. And I'm not fancy, so I just love making things. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.